not dreaming. This is real life. The Bears are not only on top of the NFC North, they're on top of the entire NFC. You're looking at that correctly. The Bears are on top of the world, baby. And if you are happy about this, hit that like button on the video. I'm going to break it all down. But if you're happy that the Bears are number one in the NFC, comment Y for yes or N for no. And if you like this video, comment and subscribe. You enter to win an autographed Tyrique Stevenson photo. Will be announced tomorrow on Monday. Let's get into this news. Is that thanks to the Carolina Panthers, who helped us out tremendously with this entire rebuild a few years back when we traded the number one overall pick to them, which we ended up getting it the following year anyway. They just did us another favor, taking down the LA Rams in Carolina week 13 to put them below the Bears, and the Bears at number one. Bears own the bye at the moment if the playoffs started today, and the Ben Johnson effect continues to show how real this entire thing is. And I just want to say this is absolutely incredible. I knew this team would be better than last year. I thought this Bears team would make the playoffs. Did I think that they would be number one in the NFC? Sure, of course, I always think they are, but not as vocal about it as I am right now because they're sitting there right now. I could not be more proud of this team, happy for this team, and yes, they took the North and never gave it back. Now let's take the NFC and never give it back. So Bears on top, Rams and Bears both at 9-3 at the moment. The Eagles at 8-4. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers own the 4th spot, but the Seattle Seahawks have a better record. They're currently 8-3, but they're playing the Minnesota Vikings right now. So a little asterisk at the recording of this video. But you know what's crazy? This is the first time since 2006 that the Bears have owned possession of the top of the NFC. At any point in the season, the first time since 2006, 19 years ago. Incredible. We have not felt this. We have not known this. We have not seen this in almost 2 decades. And the Chicago Bears, the 2025 team that's special, that is on top of the world, is proving everyone wrong. And I want to say this right now. Why not the Bears? Why not the Bears to go to the Super Bowl? Why not the Bears to take down everybody the rest of the season? They've done it. They beat the Eagles, for crying out loud. And on top of it, too, they get better and better every single week. Let's go through the entire breakdown. But before I get more into this one, guys, we're 85 away from our next goal of 40,800. Please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news and notifications. Let's start off. Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, Carolina Panthers, for this win over the LA Rams during week 13 in Carolina. Rainy, horrible day. Matthew Stafford also broke a record that Caleb Williams now owns in the NFL. Things just keep getting better and better for this team, and Ben Johnson has to have a big old smile on his face. So going through this, 28-31, the Rams lose to the Panthers in Carolina. What a game it was. And between the Panthers and the Bears, everyone's winning. Bears definitely a lot more considering we're number one, but like with how their game plan was, the rebuild, everything put together, both teams are doing what they were meant to do. Took Carolina a little bit longer, but let's go back to thinking Carolina one more time. Where this trade got to and how it got both teams into this position. So the Panthers got the number one overall pick from the Bears a few years back where they drafted Bryce Young. They traded their first round pick to the Chicago Bears, which ended up being number one, and that was Caleb Williams. We also got Darnell Wright out of the whole thing because we traded back with the Panthers that year. Then we also got Tyrique Stevenson. We got DJ Moore in the trade. We ended up drafting Tory Taylor with one of the picks, and then wide receiver Luther Burden. Both teams winning, but thank you, Carolina management, for making this decision, for making this possible and putting the Bears in this position. And shout out to Ryan Poles for absolutely fleecing this deal because everyone on this list, keep in mind, Caleb, starter, Darnell, starter, Tyrique, starter, Moore, starter, Burden, second string could be a starter soon, and Taylor, starter. Come on. Both teams are winning, and Bryce Young is starting to really come to his senses and starting to look good. And the comparison between the two quarterbacks that could have been either or for each team, well, here it is right here. Caleb Williams in 2 seasons with over 6,200 passing yards, 37 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions with 795 rushing yards, a 5.6 yard per carry average, and 3 touchdowns. Bryce Young, 60.9 in 3 seasons, but along with that too, a little over 7,400 yards, 41 passing touchdowns, 28 interceptions, 600 rushing, 5.5 yard per carry average, and 7 rushing touchdowns. Bears definitely got the better quarterback out of the deal, but you got to admit that Bryce Young is starting to look like a darn good quarterback this season so far. I still think that we did better. It doesn't matter, though, because good, better, best, we'll never let it rest. We are on top of the world, baby. Now, why are the Bears number one, considering they both have the same record? I'm sure you guys have been asking this so far. Well, it's because the Bears had a harder schedule, and thanks to Brendan Shagru for breaking this down for me. Because of the strength of schedule, Bears ended up being considered the number one seed. Love that for us. I mean, listen, that's just facts. It has been, this Bears team has played some pretty darn good teams. I mean, we started 0-2, which is the even crazier part that I want to talk about today, is that when we were 0-2, everyone thought the sky was falling. Well, the Bears are now 9-3, and that loss against the Ravens was just a total dud. Weird week. Bears really could actually be 11-1 at this moment. I mean, the Lions game was an absolute butt-whooping, but listen, at the end of the day, the Ben Johnson effect is real, and here's why. Let's get more into it and why the Bears are at this spot. So, on top of the NFC North standings, comment FGB right now if you haven't already, because, why not? I just love showing this, and Packers fans probably right now are going, gosh, he paints his fingernails and toenails. I don't care, man. We're winning ball games, for crying out loud. Numbers don't lie that this Bears team is the best in the NFC, and why they're at the top of the North, why they're at the top of the standings, and how good they're getting, and we're still just scratching the surface. Seriously, we are just scratching the surface here, folks. Let's go a little bit more into it. Bears at the moment are top 8 in 3 of the 4 major offensive categories after week 16. They're 6th in yards per game. They're 15th in passing yards per game. And they're 1st in rushing yards after a dominant performance by Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift last week. Points per game, 8th, which we've been in back-to-back weeks. This team is firing on all cylinders right now, and there is one big reason why, that I don't think it's enough appreciation for what they have done, but along with that too, how Ryan Poles did this so quickly. So let's go through it real quick right here. The Bears starting offensive line is why this is happening. You go out and get Joe Thuney. You go out and get Drew Dalman. You go out and get Jonah Jackson. You get coaches that can help Ozzy Trapilo and Darnell Wright and Dan Roshar, and bam, look at this stat line. 3 sacks from our current starting unit. In total, we also have only 3 quarterback hits. Hurries, yeah, you got a decent amount right there. If you do some quick math, 29 plus 14, that equals 43 plus 15. That would be in total 58. Not the greatest, but not the worst either. This Bears team is clicking on all cylinders, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, hurries are going to happen, but we have Iceman back there, or Houdini, whatever you want to call him. Penalties started off bad in the season. They've gotten better, but I want to say this. Claps for Ryan Poles. Fantastic work going out and getting Drew Dalman, getting Joe Thuney, getting Jonah Jackson, working with Ben Johnson to get Dan Roshar out of retirement, and also drafting Darnell Wright a few years back, which, by the way, thank you again, Carolina, for that one. But here's something even crazier. The play of Ben Johnson and the effect that he is having on this Bears team. According to our good friend Brendan Shagru, Matthew Stafford had a streak of 27 games without throwing multiple interceptions. With that pick, Caleb Williams and Jalen Hurts are now the active leaders in consecutive games without throwing multiple interceptions with 28. Ben Johnson is the real deal. Caleb Williams is the real deal. This team is special. Look at it any way you want. And that's why I'm saying this again. Why not the Chicago Bears to go all the way to the Super Bowl? Call me crazy. I'm so happy I put that bet on that the Bears would make it to the Super Bowl, by the way, earlier this year. Not going to say the odds because they were pretty unfavorable in my favor. But knock on wood, this team is still doing great, and it's something to be super excited about. Nothing's guaranteed in this league, but wins are super hard to come by, and the Bears have the most in the NFC, or tied, but are the most impressive. Let's go into Dennis Allen, too, who's obviously a part of this staff and a big reason why. And numbers don't tell the full story, because you look at the Bears' defensive rankings, you got to remember this guy has been missing 6 starters at one point during this season. 27th in yards per game, 22nd in rushing yards per game, 27th in passing yards, 27th in rushing, and 24th in points. But getting better at the points. There's more to this story. Why? Because here's what's impressive about this. Bears lead the NFL in total takeaways after week 13 with 26 total, 17 of them being interceptions, 9 fumbles, and a 17 differential. Incredible. Now it gets even more interesting. Bears have the top 3 interception leaders in the NFL. Kevin Byard at number 1, Deshaun Wright at number 5, tied for number 2, and Tremaine Edmonds at 4 with tied for number 3. Yeah, also at the time of this recording, Darnell Wright has more takeaways as an individual, which he's the only guy in the NFL with 8 total turnovers by an individual, 5 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. He has more than 3 teams in the Jets, the Giants, and the Commanders. Take that, Washington. We broke you like you broke us last year. We're not turning back and looking at it. Shout out to Ben Johnson. This team is just heating up, guys. That is what makes this so darn special. How this team is on top of the NFC right now in week 13. Things can change. Enjoy it while it lasts. because who knows what's bringing next week. But walking in the Lambeau as the number one team in the NFC, take that, Green Bay. FGB, baby. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. But with that, thank you as always for this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. I'm off to O'Hare. Hopefully I get on my plane to Europe. Next time I talk to you guys, I'll be in Paris, France. But thank you guys for, as always, for tuning this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and I want to hear it loud and proud in the comment section below because we're number one. Bear down, baby.